On that fateful night, they heard a seemingly scary, heavy humming sound. Without being told, they knew it was time for the deal. Long time ago, there existed a majestic kingdom called Akuma. The people of this kingdom enjoyed a life of contentment and prosperity, as the men of Akuma were renowned for their tireless work ethic, which contributed to the community's affluence. However, amidst this thriving community, there was a man called Amadi. Amadi was a person with a bad reputation, known for his laziness and wickedness. He had 3 children, a son and 2 daughters. The names of his daughters were Chika and Iroma, while his son is Namdi. Chika was a very hard-working and responsible lady, while Iroma was as lazy as her father. However, Iroma was loved by her father because she always supported him in all his evil doings. While other men in Akuma worked hard to make ends meet, Amadi was often found stealing land, sleeping around with people's wives, and snatching properties. When he was young, it is said that he trekked 7 mighty rivers and braved the treacherous terrain of numerous mountains to import the gods and powers he worshipped at his own house. He devoted himself to those deities and fortified himself with many charms. As Amadi grew older, he became so evil and unleashed terror on members of the Akuma for fun. Even the king of Akuma himself, who was regarded as one of the most influential figures in the land, was not immune to the sense of fear that permeated the air whenever Amadi was around. So as such, nobody could stop him from doing what he was doing. Anybody who disagrees or drags any property with him ends up dead, frustrated, or miserable. Even the sound of his name scares people away. One day, Amadi went to drag land with a man named Emeka. The land belongs to Emeka, but to avoid terror, Emeka's wife advised him not to drag it any further with Amadi, but Emeka refused to listen to her. Emeka never knew that his youthful energy did not match Amadi's witchcraft. One day, Ikenga, one of Emeka's friends, rushed to Emeka's compound and informed him that he had seen Amadi trying to sell his land to some strangers from the Iboko kingdom. Emeka got so furious and ran to the place. When he got there, Amadi was no longer there. But he didn't relent. He decided to go and confront Amadi in his house. Fortunately, as he was rushing to Amadi's house, he met him close to the kingdom's market square. He confronted Amadi right there and gave him a stern warning that any time he dared step on his land, he would beat him to a stupor. People who saw how Emeka confronted Amadi were very surprised and silently admired his courage. Amadi was so angry and felt belittled that Emeka could confront him in such an open place. He swore to finish him and his family. Throughout that day and the next day, Amadi was doing all sorts of vicious incarnations and invoking evil spirits in preparation for the terror he wanted to unleash on Emeka. At midnight of the 3rd day, he struck Emeka and his wife dead with his charms. The villagers suspected Amadi of the death of Emeka and his wife, but they couldn't do anything about it because everyone was afraid to say a word and lose their lives. Even the community chief priest was afraid of Amadi. This particular incident popularized his evil deeds beyond Akuma kingdom. One fateful day, Amadi's son, Namdi, came back home with a beautiful lady named Amaka. He told his father, Amadi, that Amaka is the girl he wants to marry. Amadi rejected the girl, but Namdi disagreed with his father, saying he loves Amaka so much and must marry her. Amadi vowed never to allow that to happen. Out of anger, Nahamdi told him that his nonsense was becoming too much and that he would not take it from him this time. Right there, his father said, "If not that you are my son, I would have shown you why I am called Amadi, one of Akuma kingdom. I will teach you a small lesson anyway," he boasted. The next day, Amadi charmed and manipulated Amaka's sanity to take advantage of her and get back at Nahamdi for insisting he must marry her. Nahamdi returned home to find his father sleeping with Amaka. He couldn't believe his eyes and became completely confused. As soon as Amaka left Amadi's compound after the act, she felt like a veil had been removed from her eyes. She cried bitterly because she never knew what had gotten over her to make her commit such an abominable act. She tried to explain to Namdi, but he couldn't listen. In frustration and disgrace, Amaka ran into the bush and hung herself. Namdi cried so hard, but he couldn't do anything. Just a few weeks while Namdi was still mourning the death of Amaka, Amadi brought a lady called Angela for him to marry. He took the lady to Namdi's room, presented her to him, saying he should stop weeping over Amaka and marry Angela. Namdi did not only reject Angela but warned her never to come close to him. In the same vein, Amadi's wife also strongly objected to her son marrying Angela because she had a reputation for being promiscuous, with nearly all the young men in the village having slept with her. Out of shame, Angela ran away and never returned. In the neighboring kingdom of Awo, a gentleman called Obiora usually comes to Akuma to visit his friends. One day on his way to Akuma, he met with Chika, Amadi's first daughter. He was instantly captivated by Chika's extreme beauty and well-chiseled feminine endowments. They got talking, and along the line they fell in love with each other. One day, Obiora invited Chika so he could introduce her to his mother. On seeing Chika, Obiora's mother was so happy that her son had got a gorgeous woman for himself. She loved Chika at first sight. Obiora's mom was so happy that she asked Obiora to give her a little time to chat with her future daughter-in-law, Chika. They all laughed and Obiora left so the two could get acquainted with each other. As Obiora's mother and Chika were talking, she asked Chika the names of her parents. As soon as Chika mentioned that Amadi is her father, Obiora's mother was shocked. She stood up and walked out of Chika. She told her son, Obiora, that she would never allow him to get married to the daughter of a wizard and wicked man. Obiora was confused about the whole thing. He didn't know anything about Chika's father and all his evil deeds because he grew up far away in his maternal place. Chika returned home and wept bitterly because she really loved Obiora and was hoping they would get married. It turned out that Amadi, Chika's father, killed Obiora's dad and his first son many years ago. With that terrible experience, Obiora's mother was scared that Amadi could harm her son. She told Obiora what happened, but Obiora wasn't afraid because he knew that he was beyond human destruction, although his mother had no idea about that. It happened that after the death of Obiora's dad and brother, his mother took him to be initiated by the river goddess that made Obiora powerful and indestructible by any human. Although Obiora's mother knew about the initiation, she had no idea of Obiora's mysterious powers. A few weeks passed and Obiora never gave up on his love for Chika. In fact, he was able to convince his mom that he genuinely loves Chika and that getting married to her will make him happy. As Obiora went to see Chika in Akuma, he saw Chika's younger sister, Iroma, on the way. As he approached her to ask about Chika, Iroma held Obiora's hand and told him that she had wanted to see him and discuss something important with him, but thanked the gods that she found him here. She gazed into Obiora's eyes, her heart beating with anticipation. She then tells Obiora that she loves him so much and believes that she can stand the chance of winning his love over her sisters. Obiora was dumbfounded as he watched her talk. Obiora advised her to do away with her feelings for him as he would never love her instead of Chika. Iroma angrily went back home and told Amadi about her feelings for Obiora and how she had approached him about her feelings towards him, but he turned her down. Remember that Amadi loves Iroma way more than Chika because Iroma always supports his evil doings in the community. So Amadi decided he would help her to get Obiora's love. A few days later, Obiora came to Amadi's compound to look for Chika. He humbly greeted Amadi and asked if Chika was around. Amadi then asked him if his name is Obiora, and Obiora replied yes. Amadi was about to go out then, so he requested for Obiora to have a walk with him. As they were walking together, Amadi told Obiora about his younger daughter and asked him to marry her instead of Chika. Still, Obiora refused and said to him that he loved Chika so much and that he should stop imposing Iroma on him. that he did not come all the way from Owa Kingdom to see Iruma. Amadi was angry and threatened to deal with Obiora for not accepting his offer to take Iruma as his wife instead of Chika. Obiora got furious and walked out on Amadi. Obiora went to Amadi's compound and met Chika. He narrated everything to her. Chika, on hearing what had happened and what her father said to Obiora, got very upset. Immediately after Obiora left, she confronted her sister and father. Namdi, her brother, was so scared that their father might kill her just as he does to anyone who dares to challenge him. Amadi was angry that his daughter and Obiora challenged him. He went to his shrine and made some incantations. He projected a charm to Obiora to make him listen and obey anything he asked him to do. Immediately, he sent the charm to Obiora's house. As it was about to hit Obiora, he grabbed it with his hands and sent it back to Amadi. Obiora then used his spiritual power to appear at Amadi's shrine where he was still sitting and performing incantations. Obiora warned him never to try it again and told him that he is not like one of those he terrorizes for fun, after which Obiora disappeared mysteriously. Amadi was so speechless that someone challenged his powers for the first time. After several days, Amadi was yet to recover from the shock. He decided to journey to a faraway village to see another native doctor to seek answers to how Obiora was able to get his powers. The native doctor then told him that Obiora got his powers from the river goddess and that Obiora is spiritually the son of the goddess. He explained to Amadi that the goddess is deadly and cannot be challenged by any native doctor. He even told him what happened to his predecessor, who was destroyed for trying to fight the servant of the river goddess. Amadi's greatest nightmare is knowing that someone is more powerful than him, so for 2 days he did not sleep or eat. He did not talk to anyone, not even his favorite daughter, Iruma. He was consumed with the thought of how to crush Obiora and outpower the river goddess. He remembered a mighty native doctor his father took him to when he was young. He decided to trace the native doctor to seek powers. Unfortunately, the native doctor told him the same thing. The river goddess cannot be challenged and anyone lucky enough to have her backing cannot be destroyed. However, he gave Amadi a golden solution. He told Amadi that if he could be able to dam the consequences and make the needed sacrifice, he should go and obtain power from a supreme wizard called Olu in Eureka land. Eureka is a very faraway land of the spirits. It was generally believed that people who died an untimely death from all parts of the world appeared there to complete their life cycle. He also warned Amadi that getting to Eureka land is not a journey for the faint-hearted. Not all who set out for the journey do reach or return. And even when one is lucky enough to reach Eureka, they must perform a painful sacrifice before gaining powers. This is a journey of little possibility, he told Amadi. Notwithstanding these chilling revelations, the power-hungry Amadi decided to dam the consequences. He embarked on a grueling journey that lasted for 3 months. He trekked through treacherous terrains, passed 21 villages, crossed several rivers, threaded through dense forests, climbed steep hills while braving the scorching sun and torrential rains. His feet were weary and blistered from the long walk, but the remembrance of dominance he could exhibit with the intended power kept him moving. And finally, after what felt like an eternity, he arrived at Eureka land. What seemed like a beheaded human ushered him into the trembling altar of the Supreme Wizard. What he saw convinced him right away that he arrived at the right place. He met a few other men who had arrived successfully from around the globe. He was informed that the Supreme Wizard only comes out of his sanctuary once every 3 months to give successful arrivals power. As such, he has to wait an extra 3 more weeks before the ritual. All those while, 4 of them only drank a red liquid substance that seemed like blood and ate a dark-colored substance in the mortar situated at the center of the waiting room. On that fateful night, they heard a seemingly scary, heavy humming sound. Without being told, they knew it was time for the deal. all of them offered some part of their bodies for the ritual. For Amadi, he was given a knife to cut one of his toes, which he did and submitted in a wooden mortar before them. The supreme wizard performed rituals and gave them powers according to their needs. He invoked a powerful goddess spirit and cast her into Amadi, that he said would make Amadi defeat the river goddess effortlessly. He told Amadi to walk across the boundary of any community he wanted to conquer, that after the walk, every living and non-living thing inside that community would submit to his authority, and he would have the power to destroy anything therein. Amadi was so impressed with his newly acquired powers that he happily journeyed back home. As soon as he arrived at his house, his next mission was to unleash terror on the goddess and destroy Obiora. A night after his arrival, he walked around the boundaries of Owa community, the hometown of Obiora, and the village where the goddess river had her altar. However, before his walk, the Owa river goddess had seen the danger beforehand and fled to the river in the neighboring community. She also informed Obiora and her mother to escape to their maternal home immediately and stay for 3 days, that a spell was about to be cast on the community. She warned them not to tell anybody. Obiora was on the farm when he got the message. He ran home immediately and took his mother to their maternal home in another village. For this, the spell Amadi cast on the entire Owo community could not hypnotize the river goddess, but Amadi has no idea. Inside his shrine, Amadi called his favorite daughter, Iruoma, and gave her a calabash containing some liquid substance and asked her to drink it after a series of incantations he did. He then gave her a jar of palm wine and told her to go to Obiora's house and pretend she was sorry for everything that had happened. Iruoma said to him that Obiora would not likely take anything from her and he might as well beat her up. Amadi laughed out loud and told Iruoma that he had captured Obiora in the spiritual realm, that she should do as she was told. Already, the goddess has kept her spiritual eyes on Amadi. So upon sensing what was happening, she transformed one of her messengers into a human being resembling Obiora. She sent him to Obiora's compound, instructing him to play along as if he were the real Obiora. Iruoma set out to Obiora's house. Upon reaching, she met the projected Obiora sitting down in front of the house. Iruoma pretended like she had come to make peace. She asked him to forgive her for all that had happened, that she didn't know what had come over her. The spirit reacted like he was moved by Iruoma's words and said he had forgiven her. Iruoma then asked him to drink the palm wine if he genuinely had forgiven her. He went to the backyard, brought a cup, and drank the palm wine. As soon as he drank it, he became very weak, fell down, and started vomiting blood. Iruoma smiled and ran away through the backyard so that no one would see her. She got home and told her father that she succeeded. Amadi laughed and told her that even before getting home, Obiora must have died because the poison and charm in the palm wine were too strong to be survived by any human. They jubilated, thinking that Obiora was truly dead. Meanwhile, immediately after Iruoma left Obiora's compound, the projected spirit stood up and disappeared. Not even a drop of blood was left on the scene. Also, the river goddess has successfully nullified the spell Amadi cast on the members of the community. The next day, proud Amadi went to the Owo community to make mouth. He started telling everybody that Obiora, the man they said was indestructible, was dead. That very soon he will deal with their useless river goddess. In the Owo kingdom, it is a taboo for anyone to allege that someone is dead when the person is alive. It was also forbidden to make mockery or insult the revered goddess. Since nobody learned about the death of Obiora, coupled with the fact that Amadi made mockery of the river goddess, the news traveled very quickly. The king of Owa kingdom ordered the youth to get hold of Amadi and bring him to the village square. Upon seeing a group of angry youths coming to arrest him, Amadi wasn't moved. He started doing incantations, hoping that the spell he cast on Owa kingdom would work on the youths. Nothing worked as they successfully held and dragged him to Owa village square. He became completely disoriented and wished the ground could just open and swallow him. While Amadi was captured, the river goddess sent a messenger to tell Obiora to return back to Owo. Immediately, Obiora rushed to the village square, where Amadi was tied down. People of Owo asked Obiora if anything had happened to him. He said no, that he and his mother were hale and hearty, that they had only gone to their maternal home for a short visit. That validated Amadi's offense of spreading fake death rumors and attempting to ridicule the goddess. Amadi was severely penalized and punished. He was to get 2 goats, 6 cockerels, 21 tubers of yam, and 17 jars of palm wine. In addition, after fulfilling all those sanctions, he would be given 40 strokes of cane in the presence of the whole community. The news went absolutely viral. People from Akuma trooped in their hundreds to witness Amadi's overwhelming disgrace. His daughter, Iroma, felt so shameful and wept all through. At night, she sneaked through a shortcut to Owo village square, where her father was tied. Upon seeing the condition of her father, her heart sank. However, immediately Amadi saw Iroma, he felt relieved and told her she should go back home, go inside his shrine, take his most powerful charm to the center of their compound, and perform some incantations with it. He told Iroma some strange things she should do and say while holding the charm. He assured Iroma that after doing it, he would gain mystical power to deal with the community and set himself free. Iroma ran home immediately to do as she was instructed. She successfully brought the charm out at the center of the compound but couldn't remember some strange words she was asked to say. As soon as she raised the charm up, it struck her dead instantly. Several hours passed and Amadi didn't feel any power within him. He stayed tied in the community square for 2 days and nobody came to his aid. His other children, Namdi and Chika, were already not on good terms with him, so they didn't care. On the 3rd day, Amadi pleaded with some of his kinsmen in Akuma to sell his land and buy the items he was mandated to bring so he could regain his freedom, which they did. On the afternoon of the 4th day, the Owo community trumpet was sounded, and people gathered to witness Amadi's flogging. 3 hefty men were called upon to give Amadi 40 strokes of cane, after which the villagers banished him from ever stepping foot in the community again. On getting to his house in Akuma, Amadi was informed that Iroma was found dead at the center of the compound, and she had been buried in the evil forest in accordance with their custom. Amadi fainted immediately but later regained consciousness. He sat down and recounted all the suffering, shame, and loss he had been through since his return from Eureka land. He broke down in tears and anger. He started destroying all the charms the Supreme Wizard gave him. The charms he was destroying were inflicting pains on the marine spirit which the Supreme Wizard invoked into him during the rituals. The marine spirit got furious and inflicted Amadi with a rare and dangerous disease that made his body start decaying. The disease kept getting worse. Even his fellow native doctors from different villages had come and tried to heal him, but nothing worked. He couldn't eat or talk. Worse still, he couldn't die. His body was just decaying and smelling very offensive. As days went by, the smell oozing from his wounds became very unbearable. His wife Namdi and Chika had to move out of the compound. Even the neighbors ran away. Later, the king of Akuma consulted the village elders, and they decided to dump Amadi's decaying body in the evil forest. The king ordered the youths to execute the resolution immediately. As soon as they dropped Amadi in the evil forest, he gave up the ghost. Within minutes, a swarm of vultures descended and feasted on his remains, leaving nothing behind but bones. The angry youths went back to his house, destroyed all his evil charms and amulets, and finally set his shrine on fire. From that day, the people of Akuma were free from Amadi's torments and peace was restored to the kingdom. Obiora and Chika later got married and gave birth to 2 lovely children.